Okay, good evening, everybody. Rodney, are you ready? You on? Okay. We're going to do things just a little bit different this evening.
Conference will now be recorded.
We've got a brief executive session that I want to have with the council pertinent to a property matter that we're going to do at the very beginning of the meeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the meeting to order officially at 7 o'clock, and then I'm going to ask for a motion that we retreat to executive session briefly.
So moved.
Motion by Sanders, we have a second.
Second by CJ.
Second by CJ. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, we are officially into executive session. We are going to go in there for just a little bit. There'll be no decisions made. We just have to talk about one property issue. Then we will be right back to go with the rest of the meeting.
watch for.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and proceed. Well, can I entertain a motion that we exit executive session and return to regular session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in a regular session meeting. No decisions were made. We're getting there. We're getting there. So appreciate the council and the audience obliging us with that small detail. As we think about a moment of silence this evening, I'd like us to keep Council Lady Allball in your prayers. She suffered an accident on Thanksgiving Day, which did put her into the hospital. She did have surgery. She's going to be recovering for a while. Is not going to be with us probably for the month of December. So just keep her in your prayers. Also, keep Council Lady Pam Bucklew in your prayers as well. She's looking at a few surgical procedures up ahead. So please remember those folks. And also the city of Charleston, as I'm sure you've seen the news, but Patrol Officer Cassie Johnson was shot in the line of duty earlier this week and has passed away from complications with that gunshot wound serving as a city of Charleston police officer. So Charleston is very sad, as we all are, about that. And so please keep Charleston and her family in your prayers as well. Thank you very much. Rodney, since it's your birthday, I will let you lead us in the pledge.
Alrighty. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Okay, council, we have one recognized guest on our agenda this evening who asked to address us prior to the agenda being printed. No stranger to us, Rob Hinton, with the who is Executive Director of the Development Authority.
We have a public hearing.
We do, you're right.
Yes.
We'll get to Rob in a second.
All right.
Okay. Just that small detail. Okay. All right, we'll entertain a public hearing of the Council of the City of Buckhannon regarding proposed adoption of Ordinance 447 of the City of Buckhannon, amending, modifying, and reenacting Ordinance number 409, also known as Ordinance number 2016-008, Ordinance number 422, and Ordinance number 435 of the City of Buckhannon, with respect to the enforcement thereof. Is there anybody here? Well, first of all, is Tom's on the phone if he wants to be present for this. If there's anybody here that wishes to address the council regarding this ordinance, that let them speak now. Callie, do you have anybody on the phone that you can see that would want to speak to us about this?
I do not believe so, and I've also checked the buckhannon@buckhannon.wv.org email, and we have no emailed comments.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are no comments to be made to the council, we'll consider the public hearing to be closed at this time. So, Tom, thank you. Okay, now, we've got Rob Hinton here, Executive Director of the UCDA. Council, I'd like to go ahead while Rob is here to bring G1 to the table. That is the discussion possible action of the new road project with the UCDA on Brushy Fork Road, commitment of funds. If that's okay with you, we'll go ahead and combine that with Rob's remarks because that's what he's here to talk to us about. Hello, Rob.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Thank you for allowing me to come in tonight and give kind of a revised update on the project that we've been working on, trying to figure out a good solution. So we had some discussions with Jay and Mayor and Jerry Arnold and started looking at ideas of how to simplify this process moving forward with partnering up on the road, and we started identifying what is the direct need here that's of urgency. And that direct need is getting at least some sort of temporary access road graded in and gravelled when this company is ready to break ground on their manufacturing facility. And while we're doing that, that was understood what the priority was. At the same time, we have been working with Charleston to communicate with them about the plans for the road, going through kind of just a preliminary review on the grant, kind of crossing the T's, dotting the I's, so to speak, getting that ready to submit in a couple of weeks here. But what we had decided is if we could get a rough road graded and gravelled, then we really don't need to commit to a larger project at this time. We can still work and flesh out the details and also wait for confirmation from the state on the industrial access road grant. That way we would know we had the grant. We're going to ask for the full amount, $400,000. That doesn't seem to be a problem through everyone that we talked with in Charleston with DOH and Development Office. So we're confident that we will be able to secure those funds, but obviously nothing's guaranteed. But that way we don't have to make a decision on a large project, however the cost may shake out, until we know we have grant funds to cover the cost. And I think that probably is a better situation for everyone to commit to. And so what we did ask Jay to do is give us kind of a quick rundown of how expensive would it be to do a rough grade on a road at elevation. And they came in about $30,000. I think 27 was the exact number, but he said 30,000 is a good estimate on cost. One of the key things to that specific item is that would be an expense that the city would absorb. It would not be able to recoup or recapture that with grant funds, but I just want to make that clear so we're not having different expectations, right? So to set the expectations. That's kind of the conclusion that we came to, and I think that is kind of a fair approach moving forward, and I think that gets us to where we need to be from an urgency standpoint, but also puts us in a planning period that we can take a little bit of a step back and make sure we have things in place before we do any further commitments.
Thanks, Rob.
Any questions that you guys have about this?
Yeah, you mentioned what, 400,000 for the grant?
Yes, sir.
So if I recall, you said that we could apply for 10% of the project, cost of the building and whatnot. So
Correct.
Is this a $4 million facility they're putting in?
It's their low end is $5 million.
5, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
So depending on where things shake out on their design, it's definitely going to be at a minimum of $5 million is what they have told us, because we did need to have those CapEx expenditures in order to present those to the DOH in order for them to make a determination on what our eligibility would be.
Okay.
And they came back with 400,000 or?
That's the maximum amount.
Oh,
Max.
Right.
Okay.
The maximum amount you can get is 400,000. So unfortunately, we can't go any higher.
And in this scenario, then you'll be applying for the grant. UCDA will be applying for the grant.
Yes, that was the other caveat is that,
Yeah.
there's a lot on everyone's plate, and especially the city with projects. So one of the big constraints was whether or not the city would have the availability and resources and time to do a full-fledged, highway grade road project. If that's the case, the city can bid on the project, because since we're the recipient of the grant, we do still have to publicly bid it. Unfortunately, we can't
Sure.
You can't just award a contract without bid. That's unless you all want to change the state rules, but I don't know if you can do that. But yeah, so that way, when we have receipt of whether the grant was successful or unsuccessful, the city, you all could make a good determination as to whether or not you have the time in your schedule and can fit it in with your projects that you have currently. And if it makes sense, then there's a possibility for us to work together on that.
Well, I think that was one of the big concerns we had, as well as the financial restraints on the city, you know, utilizing funds and so forth, with the time element, with the number of projects, and I'm glad you pointed out that that was part of the consideration. I think this is a great solution to a situation, and it shows the entities working together very well, which is how you attain success, you know, when everybody comes together on a project like this. Congratulations on getting the jobs. I mean, that's the nice thing about the UCDA, and my understanding is that's your focus, is to, you know, work on one of your focuses on that, and our focus is to try to assist in any way we can. So it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, we'll be empowering the further development out
Right.
there. There's still other properties, correct, to be sold off?
I don't think that we're gonna have much properties that are gonna be very marketable, but they're acquiring 6 acres, and so that takes 8.5. There's plans for the county to look at, they've been investigating soccer fields and so on and so forth. There's a possibility that we may just join forces with them and allow those fields to be developed into soccer fields. There's a lot of floodplain issues back there, and it's hard to market property when you got a tenant or a prospective developer wants to come in and has to deal with a floodplain issue. They're usually not going to purchase the property. It's
Well,
not gonna
even
be
if you
ideal.
don't develop more properties, just the building permit fees on $5 million building, the B&O tax, and then the increased multiplier on personal and real property, and that's going to pay dividends to the city over time. So I support this measure, and Jerry and Jay have estimated 27,000. It sounds a little low to me, but
I think Gary said around, coming around 30.
Yeah, 30 is the number they told me.
so that's the number we want to approve, 30?
That's up to you all and discussion. I just have the numbers.
If that's what Jerry's comfortable with, I'm comfortable
Gary
with.
just shook his
Jerry?
head. Yeah.
How many
I think we-
feet, how many feet are we talking
About 500.
500 feet? Wow.
Those numbers are correct.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
So 30 grand.
Well, if you're looking for a motion, I'll make a motion that we approve that.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to commit $30,000 toward a project to grade out and gravel a access road off of Brushy Fork Road that's going to connect Development Authority property within the corporate limits of Buckhannon. That's the motion, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We have a motion, we have a second. I'll ask for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Delay.
Those like sign opposed? The motion is carried unanimously.
Awesome, thank you guys very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the other things that we're trying to do is, I don't think it's gonna happen in December, but I will keep you all updated. We're looking at doing some sort of groundbreaking for both these companies to memorialize their investments being made into the city. So we've got the one in at the Armory, the old Armory, and then the one out obviously at Brushy Fork. So we'll keep you guys updated on that.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Take care, be safe.
All right. We are down to department and board reports. First up, we've got Callie. Cronin Sam's our information coordinator. Callie, you still out there with us?
I am, thank you.
Okay.
Just starting out with a little bit of logistics, if that was Councilperson Rager who had asked the first question to Rob, might see if we could get a mic a little bit closer. Pam, were you able to hear hear okay? I got,
I don't think we have.
you could, okay.
We can-
All right.
Okay.
Maybe it's all right then. Wait.
No.
You're good.
Okay. All right.
You're good.
Well, we're doing the best we can with this.
Yeah.
Hopefully there will be.
Everybody speak when you talk.
To do this anymore.
Use your outdoor voice.
What's that, Randy?
I said, I just told everyone when they speak, use their outdoor voice.
That's right.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. And then back to my report, yes, with the website, have been working to try to improve our server space. If you had any problems accessing the website, I do apologize. We're having some issues with where our backups were going, and they were taking up more space than what I'd realized, and working with West Virginia Net to get that problem fixed. And hopefully we pretty much identified the problem at least and know what the solutions could be. And so I think we have it temporarily fixed, and then I'm looking at some longer term solutions too for the city's backups. I put in my report the map and the street names where Santa will be traveling with the Buckhannon Fire Department. However, I'm not going to steal that thunder from JB, but just so you know, that is in my report, and we'll be getting that up on the website and share it on social media again. So looking forward to that, and I personally want to really thank them for having that idea and doing that, because I know my daughter is really going to love it. So thanks to the Buckhannon Fire Department for doing that, and we're looking forward to that on Saturday. And then just continuing to share information, of course, on social media and the website. We had a press release about the first of the path routes that was out. I've received some good feedback that people are enjoying getting to use those 5K routes, and the first one that's out anyway, and we look forward to getting additional routes painted and identified and the signs out, and letting people have another option to be healthy in our community. We shared information about Casey Earl Mills and his art show at the Colonial Theater Gallery and opening. I'm just going through. And of course, more information about the local situation with COVID, et cetera. Oh, and Shopping Small this past Saturday. So kind of a combination of holiday information and just things that people in the community need to know. On grants, I've been working with the Buckhannon River Watershed Association on their Stream Partners grant, and they were awarded that. We just found out this past week, so we were happy to hear that news. That was $5,000 for water quality testing within the watershed, and they also have some signage. It'll go towards replacing that sign at the Riverwalk that's been down for quite some time, and some other educational pieces. Been talking with both Walmart and JB on the grant through their local communities program, and looking at that for some equipment with the fire department. And I know we were going to talk a little bit about that later, so I'll skip over that.
We can actually talk about that now if you'd like. I mean, it's right here in your report, and it's part of our discussion. So let's go ahead and just let's knock it out.
Good. So it's up to $5,000, and we've learned from Walmart that the absolute best time to submit that would be right on February 1st, because that's the beginning of their fiscal year. And it's kind of, even though the deadline for the grant is the end, for this particular year is December 31st, we've learned they've already expended their money from the past year. So we're looking at getting in right at the beginning of the next fiscal year for them. And then if JB wants to talk a little bit about the equipment that we're going to ask to help fund.
Yes, Mayor, we have one more component in the jaws of life in the hydraulic system. It's about a $12,000 cost. And as I spoke at council last month, the volunteers have already committed and spent almost $60,000 on equipment for the new fire engine. I was going to ask Walmart, Callie and I were talking, this piece of equipment's $12,000, and if we could get $5,000 from them, and then I was going to talk to Callie about approaching possibly Weyerhaeuser. They have a community grant also. maybe we can pair up with both of them to get this piece of equipment purchased. Even $5,000 towards the $12,000 cost is great for us. So that's what we're looking at.
Don't ask, don't get. Okay, anything else relative to the grant?
And actually, Kelly, I hadn't had a chance to talk to you. One of the managers at Walmart called me today and basically reflected everything you just said, and to hit them, in February, and that would be the best time. So.
Okay, great.
I would entertain a motion that we go ahead and approve the submission of the grant to the local community application for Buckhannon Fire Department for the equipment purchase.
So moved.
A motion by Rylands, have a second?
Second.
A second by Rigger. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign opposed? Motion carries. All right, you may proceed, Callie. Thank you.
The only thing I'll add is just to remind folks to go enjoy Main Street, and we have the Streets and Parks Department as well as Burma did such a nice job with the decorations, and Pam and the Holiday Decoration Committee. I think it looks amazing, and we have the special Christmas Around the World activity and scavenger hunt that everyone can get involved with. So I just want to remind people to get out and enjoy the season.
I might have missed this, Callie, but this looks pretty good about the path. 5K routes, you received approval for some fund usage. Did you cover that already?
Yeah, well, the path routes, we're not going to need as much for paint as what we had initially budgeted for. And so I was able to get approval from them, from our grant coordinator out of WVU, to use the funds that we have left to go towards the purchase of a water bottle filling station. It'll have the water bottle filling station, but also the water fountain, and have that installed down at Jawbone Park. All of the path routes will intersect not only with downtown, but with Jawbone Park. And so we thought that would be a great feature to be able to fill up your water bottle before or after you go out on one of the routes. And then, of course, it will just be nice to have at the park during events there.
That's great. Thank you.
I agree. Any questions or? Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
No, I don't have a question.
Oh, okay. All right. I heard a rustle on your phone. So.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Callie, thank you very much for your report, and thanks for all the hard work. So.
Sure thing.
All right.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you all.
Okay, up next, we've got Jerry Arnold, our Public Works Director.
I'm on report on your packet.
There is none.
I don't have anything new. The departments are working on the same projects that they were working on last time of last report, so I didn't feel to bore you with redundancy. I will try to make it a little hard on the reporter so he'll have a little more to type. Just to report that we had the folks in here from Fiore for training on the cement mixer Tuesday. Again, shock to the system, fellows from Miami. So he came up here Tuesday in the snow. Couldn't believe we poured concrete in the snow. I told him this was West Virginia. Of course, he was originally from Maryland, so he was used to some of the winter. But anyhow, I was telling Jack before the meeting, he was surprised at what the guys had already learned because, we give them homework whenever we got the machine, made them read the manuals, anybody that was going to operate, plus we had some online training that we put them through. But he was well pleased at what we had done up to this point, and had a couple pointers on orders of adding aggregates and things to the mix to get a better mixture. But other than that, he was pleased with how the project had taken off. So I'll add that we appreciate Dennis was there and actually did some filming. So we're going to share that footage with Callie, as well as Brad Hawkins got some footage, and the Fiore rep. took video, and they're actually gonna send some waivers to the guys that are in the video. They wanna use it for their advertising as well, our machine. So it was all good, and the guys did great on picking this up and moving along. We saved, Brad reported about 20, I wanna say somewhere in the $2,400 range on just that project on that street down there. That
Savings.
one sidewalk was just savings so far. So again, it's working out really well. The guys have picked it up really good, and we look forward to next construction season. That's all I have, Mayor, unless there's questions.
Any questions for Jerry?
In fact, you didn't have to wait for the truck. Savings has to be more than $2,400.
Yeah, just the fact to be able to keep it moving, you know.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Drive
you,
safe.
Jerry. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Jerry.
All right, our next up is Finance Director M. Beryl Jenkins.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I'll give you your balances for November 30th related to general fund type activities. General fund money market and checking was $1,306,000. Historic landmark savings remains the same at $3,025. You have a general fund CD at $85,911. Fire truck savings $38,348. The Stockert Youth Center capital campaign is now at $439,810. That's with the $12,000 pledge. We received $1,042 from the Kiwanis Club for the capital campaign. Coal tax $50,954. Municipal stabilization fund $514,550. Flood control account $9,388. Consolidated public works $134,486, and then the sales tax $875,000. A couple of things to update you on. We have, if you live in the Brushy Fork area, there's a Brushy Fork surcharge on there. It is because of, and it's based on your consumption at $1.50 a thousand. It was for sewer lines to repay. It's to repay the general fund for a loan from Sanitary Board to build sewer lines out on the Brushy Fork Road. That surcharge stops this month, so those won't be on the bills anymore unless, of course, they've had a past due balance. The other thing, we, as you may have received yourselves, the letters were sent out to the waste collection customers regarding an order by the Public Service Commission that permitted an inflationary increase of 3.58%, and those rates will go into effect January 1st. With that, I sent out some general information related to our holidays, bulky goods pickup, recycling information, payment information, and phone numbers and locations of our facilities. Council selected First Community Bank to finance the purchasing of the property at Mudlick Road at the last council meeting, and the rate was quoted at 2.195%. And when we contacted them back, the market had changed and they actually reduced the interest rate to 2.095%, which makes the interest paid for that period of time $13,347 less. Also, down in G2, it's nothing that you'll be acting on. It has to do with a letter of credit that the First Community Bank contacted me about a letter of credit that it expires on December the 11th. And the letter of credit's for the Waste Collection Board for DEP. We have a landfill that was closed in 1990, and we had to have a 30-year letter of credit because of the leachate and possible things that might need to be remediated in that 30-year period. Jerry contacted DEP to see if we need to continue this letter of credit, and I guess with COVID it's been kind of hard to get them to answer back. He did get hold of someone in permitting at DEP, and they might be able to cancel that letter of credit once they determine the leachate parameters are met. And we hold a $64,000 CD to help cover that letter of credit that we can't use until that's released. So that's just general information I thought I should tell you. It's down in G4, and again, it's nothing for you to act upon. It's a waste collection issue, but I thought you should know about it. and we won't know anything, whether we need to keep the letter of credit until DEP contacts us back and puts it in writing at if they want us to keep it, what time period they want us to keep it in. I think that's it.
Questions or comments for Andy?
I want to point out that Abby was reporting at the waste board meeting earlier that she had the letters prepared to go out on this rate increase, had some extra room, and that's when she decided to add in updates and information for the waste department for our customers. And one of the board members, Mr. Randall, commented as well as the mayor, I believe, though several people contacted them and said they learned things, that they learned new information about the holiday schedules, the recycling, about pickup times and so on and so forth. So that was a good move on Abby's part, and I want to thank her for thinking of that.
Thank you, but it's because I'm cheap and I didn't want to waste that time.
Well, that was the other part of it. Yeah, she had some blank space and she wanted to
That was
fill it
right,
up.
I need to use it for something.
That's a good point. Thank you for sharing that, Randy. Yeah, we appreciate Amby always looking out for us to help us save a buck, even though when we may want to spend we want to spend two. So, thank you, Amby, for your report. Next up is Fire Chief J.B. Kimball.
Good evening, everybody. In your packet, you'll our monthly activity and year-to-date activity. We're staying at about 100 responses a month right now. We are still down about between 7 and 8% from last year. That's due to some of the calls that we opted out of when COVID started, some of the non-emergency responses. So we are at 934, and that's through the month of October. I am attending a online quality improvement through accreditation workshop course. It's 3 days a week for 3 weeks. Really interesting. I'm about to complete the first week of it. And actually yesterday, our process here was part of the conversation. And my question was dealing with 2 government entities in 1 fire district. And very unique. Actually, the instructor from DPSE is going to call me later to have a longer discussion about it. And, dealing with the city government and county government in 1 district is very unusual. So we're going to have to figure out some things that we have going on with that. COVID testing, we've had 8 more people tested. We actually did have a volunteer that tested positive. He had not been on any responses or at the firehouse. He has finished his quarantine and he is okay now. We are probably going to be getting vaccines available to us in a week or so through the state and the Upshur County Health Department. I have sent out a roster for those who would like to receive it. It's been very overwhelming in the positive. Some people have questions, of course. It's something new. But the majority of our organization they are willing to get the vaccine. Callie would know more about this, but I was told today the Santa coming to town stuff we've been putting on our Facebook. And for those of you who know me, I'm not a big social media guru, but we've had 21,000 hits or views on our Facebook page with the Christmas stuff. So I guess that's quite a bit. So don't really know much about it. It's a good thing. People are enjoying it. And I also want people to understand this is new to us. We can't get to every little street and corner. We're just trying to start small, and if it goes well before Christmas, we may look at trying to get Santa back for another time to maybe expand out a little bit if it's possible, if Santa's not too busy. If you get on our Facebook page, the routes are on there. It will start at Riley Heights at noon on Saturday and travel through the western part of town from 12 to 12:30, and then up through like Victoria Hill, Academy Street, the southwestern part of town for a half hour, and then the Wood Street area up through Camden Avenue and then eventually over by the college and North Buckhannon and Upper and Lower Drive, finishing out about 2 o'clock. So hopefully kids and parents will get out and line the street and wave at Santa as he goes by. It's new. We really wanted to bring Santa to our community with all the crazy stuff that's going on. So hopefully everybody will get out and wave at Santa. I also wanted to say a couple things. You know, we were laughing about Robbie taking pictures the other night. Mayor Skinner, I'm sorry. But, you know, I've been chief here for around 3 years now. And Mayor McCauley and Mayor Skinner both were very proud of our Main Street. And it's really good to work for people that really love the city. So I just wanted to get that out there. You know, whether it was Mayor McCauley in the past or Mayor Skinner now, it's really good to work for people that enjoy our community. So one more quick thing. Like everybody else, our prayers are for the Charleston Police Department right now. Kathy Johnson, the officer that was shot. You know, I've been in the fire service for over 30 years, and the last couple of years have really been different. And this started as a parking complaint. This call was a parking complaint, and a police officer got shot. And, you know, I see on the agenda you are talking about our parking enforcement. And, you know, for those people that don't work in emergency services, times have really changed. And people out sometimes are very aggressive. And twice in the last year, we've had to have police officers at fires subdue people that were threatening our fire departments too. So it's very dangerous out there. And yesterday was National Hug Day. And with COVID, we can't hug right now. But next time you see a cop, a fireman, or an EMS person, say hi to them and thank them for what they do. And that's all I have.
Questions or comments for Chief Kimball?
We thank you, Chief, and all of the members of your department.
Yes, we do.
Yes, Jay.
You all have a good evening.
I mean, he's exactly right. I mean, just because this is a small city and Charleston's a much larger city than we are, that those things can happen anywhere. So we do appreciate our law enforcement, firefighters, and EMS personnel here in Buckhannon, Upshur, certainly for the work that they do. So you guys be safe out there.
Take care, Neil.
Thanks for working with Santa Claus.
All right.
If anybody wants to put anything, mail letters to the fire department if any kids want anything, and we'll make sure Santa gets it.
I'll bring my letter down tomorrow.
All right. I spoke with Tom just before the meeting. He is going to defer his report to our strategic issues for discussion and vote. So in your packet for correspondence and information, we've got a notice of public hearing for ordinance 447. That's right there above. That's what we had this evening that I almost forgot about. We've got a progress report for the Municipal Home Rule Pilot Program for 2020. I encourage you to take a look at that. Of course, this is a home rule city, has been since the very beginning. Letter to the waste collection customers for the inflation rate adjustment per the West Virginia Public Service Commission and House Bill 4587 on the state level. And then we've got a thank you letter to Dominion Energy for the Atlantic Coast Pipeline Project. Under your consent agenda, we've got 3 items: approval of the minutes for the regular meeting on 11/19, approval of the building and wiring permits, and then approval of the payment of the bills. I entertain a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion by Rigger. Do we have a second? We have a second by Thomas. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign opposed, and the motion has carried. We are down to strategic issues. We do not have too many of them left because we've taken care of a few of them above. We'll call upon our attorney, Mr. Tom O'Neill, and it's also his birthday today, so Rodney and Tom share a birthday. So we will call upon him for the third and final reading of the City of Buckhannon parking ordinance revision. Maybe he's having birthday cake. There he is.
He likes that dramatic.
You just called me too quick. All right, members of council, you have before it ordinance number 447, which I'll read by caption. Ordinance number 447 of the City of Buckhannon, amending, modifying, and reenacting ordinance number 409, also known as ordinance number 2006-008. Ordinance number 422 and ordinance number 435 of the City of Buckhannon with respect to the enforcement thereof. This is the third of 3 readings.
All right. Council, if there are no corrections or additions,
I'd like to ask council to defer to Councilman Rollins to make the motion if he is so inclined, because he put a lot of footwork into this, a lot of activity and so forth. That's all I have to say.
So moved.
well, we have a motion by Rollins. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Would you like the second?
Yes.
Okay. Those two and Jack and all of our council members, I appreciate the work that they've done in putting their thoughts together on this. And, you know, it's to some it may just be, well, it's just a parking ordinance, but this is a vital part of the health of our downtown. So appreciate all of the work, and you know, I feel good that we're moving forward on this.
And I would make one final comment before you call for the question. Our thanks to the city attorney for his patience and working through to achieve all the things that the different council members felt were important. So
I agree.
Good job.
All right, we will go ahead and call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those like sign opposed. Mr. Recorder, let the minutes show that the motion has passed unanimously.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
I didn't hear. Was G4 already acted upon?
Yes. There's no action to be taken. Amby went over it with us, but we've already discussed it. But she said that there's nothing we need to take action on this evening for. So it leaves us with 2 remaining items. G5 is to set the interviews for the Buckhannon Police Department probationary officer December 17th, 2020 at 3 p.m. If you'll recall, we did something similar to this when we hired Mr. Fisher. We did it out ahead of a couple other meetings so that we can just kind of streamline the afternoon. I would entertain a motion that we set the date for December 17th at 3 p.m. to interview our probationary officer.
So moved.
A motion by Thomas. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sanders. Is there discussion?
Yes. So in the past, we've made comments about instead of hiring a patrolman, hiring a deputy chief, and I dropped off the call after I made my comments 2 meetings ago, I believe. And I think the chief responded that they had modified their approach to the CALIA accreditation support, that they were going to, and correct me if I'm wrong, that they were going to spread this out through the force and each take a certain aspect of it, and that it might not be as important as it was stated previously to have someone in charge of CALIA accreditation. Is that accurate?
Yeah, the conversation I had with Chief Gregory following last meeting, he called me up, and I think you talked to him too, and I think you talked to him, is that their belief is that having an officer able and ready to respond on the street is right now more of a desire and a pressing matter than having an accreditation officer, and that Matt is comfortable continuing the accreditation process as it's been going. But you're correct. Conversation was in the beginning more toward an accreditation manager, but the request has been shifted somewhat. So that's the reason why this is on the agenda as is, and why we're looking to proceed with hiring a probationary officer to replace Officer Cope who has resigned. Remember, he was a doctor, and he has a doctorate degree. He's received employment elsewhere.
Okay, so I guess if we look back over the last 15 years, we have hired an average of at least one officer per year. So I guess we'll see how this works, that we achieve accreditation and then maintain the status with the current proposed structure for doing so. And if not, you know, we can have this discussion again about a deputy chief down the road.
Yeah, I was, when you mentioned it, when you brought it up at the last meeting, I was interested in that discussion, and I did have that discussion with the chief. And you know, I feel that he is taking us to that finish line for the CLIA program. So it's his recommendation and desire to try to do it through this team effort. And I think the right move is to honor that request. And let's go ahead and set up the interviews for the two people.
I agree.
Yeah, and see if we can hire a new officer. But I agree with CJ, if we need to in the future, we should leave it open to revisit it.
Sure.
Well, I think anytime you have a department with that many individuals, you always need to take a look at what is the best way to go for the future. And, yeah, I agree with that also.
Okay. I will entertain a motion that we already have a motion in a second, sorry. There's no further discussion. We'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pam, did you vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. The motion is passed unanimously. So we will have our interview on December 17th at 3 p.m. So mark your calendars, council. Okay. Finally, G6, I would defer to our city recorder for an update on the World Association of Marching Bands Championship.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've had several opportunities where I've addressed council, and I have also addressed the Consolidated Public Works and other civic organizations. Today I had the pleasure of addressing the Buckhannon group. I'm going to also talk to some of the other clubs such as Rotary and so forth. We are very close, and I'm feeling very good about our chances of winning the bid to host the 2023 World Association of Marching Show Bands Championships. We're not there yet, but here's what was sent to me on Sunday, November 22nd. Dear Randy, I hope that you and your team are all staying safe. I'd like to invite you and your team to present your bid for the 2023 World Championships at our board meeting being held on December 13, 2020. The meeting will be taking place virtually this year over Zoom. This presentation is your organization's chance to go through your bid and highlight the event that you and your team are envisioning. Focus should be on the experience for the participants, venues, the previous experience of the organizing group running a large-scale event, and the logistical and financial elements in place to ensure a safe and positive experience for all. After the presentation and the questions, the bid will be voted on and results will be communicated to you ASAP. So, this will take place at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, December 13th. A meeting Monday virtually with the other committee members that we have working on it, Elisa Lively from West Virginia Wesleyan College, Laura Meadows from our CVB, Callie Cronin Sams, of course. The mayor has been invited. He'll participate as well. And we will be presenting this to board members in the United States, Canada, Brazil, Denmark, Germany, Ireland, Italy, and Japan. So that will be the worldwide audience that I'll be addressing. So Buckhannon, West Virginia, the United States of America will certainly be on the map. Whether we get this or not, we will have made a splash across the world showcasing Buckhannon. So fingers crossed, and for the media, we may have something big to announce on December 13th. We hope to have that result and the vote that day, so we'll keep you posted, and I'll work with you between now and then to hopefully set something up so we can be in touch. So fingers crossed, as of now, let's just wait for December 13th, and Mr. Mayor, Buckhannon may have a really big Christmas present.
Certainly hope so.
Let's hope.
And Randy, we really appreciate all the work you've put in to this, and in conjunction with John Waltz and Elise over at college.
Greg Kellison, locally here, has provided me more information about marching show bands than I ever thought I would know. And Lee Winters, who is from Philadelphia, but he's kind of an honorary citizen here in Buckhannon. He's helped with the West Virginia Strawberry Festival for many, many years. So I don't want to fail to mention those gentlemen as well.
Good deal.
Thank you.
We appreciate your leadership.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to hopefully a very positive result. So. But as you said, regardless, it puts Buckhannon on the map, and that's important.
Definitely.
All right. What takes us down to comments and announcements. We will begin with Mrs. Bucklew.
Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Okay. I just want a little note from Burma to talk about what's happening downtown with the decorations. Reason why, I think it's very appropriate to have Christmas around the world this year, especially what's going on with COVID and everything. But this is what they said to me. They designed 2 games for the kids to play when they come downtown to celebrate Christmas around the world. Each pole is decorated in different countries' colors, flags, tassels, and special ornaments depicting certain customs observed for Christmas in that country. Children can pick up the game sheets and participating businesses during the week or at Christmas headquarters at 56 East Main Street, which is in the building right next to the Dairy Queen, on December the 5th and December the 12th from 10 to 2. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be there for cookies and drinks. Pictures can also be taken with Santa. After completing their game sheet, children can take it to the headquarters to be entered in several drawings. Lots of fun for all of them. Hope everybody brings their kids down and takes part in it. And also, I'm tickled about the tree we have at City Hall. If everybody has not noticed, it's a West Virginia tree. And Virginia Hicks made a lot of the wood ornaments put on the tree on the St. Kerr, and the kids from Stockford Youth Center did birds and pine cones to make it look more like the West Virginia tree. And I think today and yesterday, the Garden Club is a tree down at the courthouse, and I think it's beautiful also. So I want to thank everybody involved in the decoration.
Thank you, Pam, and Burma for coordinating it.
I'm just going to quickly add on to what Pam said, that the scavenger hunt and the game, the activity is up on our website too, so you can get it there also.
I got somebody on my door.
Anything else, Pam?
No, that's it. We just keep hearing our prayers. And also Buck Edwards.
Yes, that's true. I did forget about Buck. Buck is up at St. Joe's. Okay, thanks, Pam. CJ.
I'm back.
Yes.
Anybody at the door, Dave?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're coming back. Come on back, Logan. Sorry about that.
So over the last week or so, Create Buckhannon has converted the bocce court to horseshoes. So there's a new horseshoe pit down there. There's in the box where we kept the bocce balls. If you want to use one of those 6 compartments, contact Create Buckhannon. You can store your horseshoes in there, and we hope to have it utilized a little more than bocce was over the last few years, even though Amanda gave it a valiant try.
Is that switch okay with you, Amanda? Okay.
Oh yeah, we ran a fire. And I also bring
Hey, I'm
to,
going to
What's that?
I said, I noticed that yesterday, and I was tickled that had been changed since it wasn't being used very much.
thank you. I also like to get out there that Gary Canal of the Strawberry Festival attended Consolidated Public Works on Tuesday and discussed new format strategy for the Strawberry Festival if it is held this year, that the music and the food vendors would be in Jawbone Park, and we will collaborate with the carnival, and everything will be centrally located. There's a lot of work to do in getting this straight with all the different parties involved, but I think it's a great step, and look forward to working with the carnival and the Strawberry Festival and the city when and if we have our next Strawberry Festival.
Thanks, CJ. David, you got anything for us?
Just very quickly, I just want to thank everybody for all the extra things they do, like Pam and CJ and Randy, and that's fantastic. And Jack, we're working on the parking orders and so forth. And I just wanted to state that JB is exactly right. We live in a different kind of world today. It's very concerning to me in regard to the celebration of violence and other kind of things that continually faces our children and our young adults. And I just wish we could figure out a way that we can take back our society to some degree. So thank you all for what you do, and all be safe, and see you at the next council meeting.
All right, thanks, Dave. Mr. Rigger.
Well, of course, prayers for Mary Allball, and miss having her here this evening, and really appreciate the efforts that went into the project out at the event center as far as creating an access road and all the other things that the city workers do. Remain impressed with the professionalism and the expertise of our city employees, and I think we're fortunate to be in Buckhannon, and we certainly have a solid group of people. So.
Your house looks great, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Do we give the credit to Charlotte?
She'll take it.
She's watching, Jack.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Rigger. Mr. Sanders.
Well, I've already soaked up a lot of time talking about the World Association of Marching Show Bands, but I'm struck by the progress we've made at tonight's council meeting, and I just want to applaud the community in general for working together. This has always been my hope, and I see it working well. We sometimes come into situations where we need more detail, we need to figure out a few things, we have to postpone it from one meeting to another meeting, but it's all to protect our finances and to come to the best solution possible. I think we did that tonight. I applaud Mr. Hinton for coming to the table from the UCDA, Mayor and Jerry and Jay, everybody from the city working together on that project. I was on the Zoom call with CJ, Councilman Rylands for the Creek Buckhannon group today. What a great group of people, enthusiastic every meeting, talking about improving Buckhannon in many, many ways. It's a great community. It's full of great people. I know that we are facing different times, but one thing is consistent, and that's the warmth that's shown by the citizens of Buckhannon on a daily basis. Thank you.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Amen.
I too appreciate all the work that our crews do on a daily basis out there in the cold and the elements when it's hot, and they're sometimes outdoor work is when you sit inside so much. For me, pretty day I just want to be outside, but that's on a nice 70-degree day. But when it's 10 or when it's 95, that's not always the case. We appreciate all of our crews, appreciate the council and our work together. Do want to encourage everybody, if you live in the city and to check out the route for Santa on Saturday. If you don't live in the city, maybe come downtown and stand along a street and wave at Santa. I think this is going to be a neat event for our fire department, and I want to again applaud John Brugnoli and Chief Kimball and all the others at the fire department for putting this together. It's going to be a really neat to see Santa going up and down city streets this weekend. I'm glad you mentioned the part about the Strawberry Festival. It's something we've wanted to see happen for a while, to join Jawbone Park with festival activities, and we'll continue to work on that plan moving forward to get something hopefully really good and concise for our 2021 festival. I really hope we're going to have something. It would be a shame for this to still be going on and we can't have a Strawberry Festival 2 years in a row. I'm excited for that. I did want to mention, please keep in your prayers Mary Albaugh and Buck Edwards and Pam. We got a lot of Al Tucker. I think is having to have a stent put in. Bill Neal is had to have a stent put in as well. So we've got a lot of folks that could use some prayer right here around the holidays. So I know it's tough, as JB said, you can't just go out and give somebody a hug, but give some neighbors a call and check in on them here next few days, next few weeks as we get around this time of year. So I know they'd really appreciate it. That's all I've got. At 8:15, I entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So move.
All right.
Got it.
We'll see you here in a few weeks for our second round in December.